Okay, I noticed that these two things were in the tree the entire time while I was playing the Archon quest. So this whole adventure into that started when my brother and I were about to go to a new world, and just as we were about to leave, we were confronted by this goddess who captured my brother in some cubes and then cast me out. Apparently, I fell asleep for 500 years after that. When I wake up, I see this creature drowning and decide to save them. Paimon can float. I don't know why she was drowning. After saving Paimon, I spent the next few months receiving language lessons from her, so Paimon understood the Traveler's original language to begin with. We finally make our way to the First Nation, and I've decided that I want to meet the 7 Archons in hopes that one of them knows where my brother is. I touch a statue of the 7 and gain animo power, and now every time after this, whenever I touch a statue of the 7, I'll get a new elemental power. And so I come across someone talking to a dragon, and the dragon gets scared off, and the person disappears, and then later I find out that this person is the Animo Archon. And so I help the people of Mondstadt stop a dragon, and then we save the dragon who was corrupted by the Abyss Order, which is a thing, and also there's the Fatui. And so then Venti is ambushed by Signora, one of the Fatui Harbingers, and she takes his Gnosis, which is something that ties the Archons to Celestia, and we learn about the Saritza. And then we need to hurry to Liyue, and then we seemingly witness an assassination, and I try to leave the crime scene, and the guards start coming towards me, and I run. This results in a chase. Tip, don't do anything from the last sequence of events. And so then I meet Child, and then I find out that Zhongli, who is the Geo Archon, faked his death, and we spent the whole day going around town getting preparations for his funeral. And also, he doesn't know how to carry around money or how any of that really works. I don't know. And so then we meet this guy called Daneslith. And so he leads us on a commission to investigate the Abyss Order. And so then we find out the shocking fact that our sibling is supposedly the prince or princess of the Abyss Order, which is just like, what? And also, like, they were trying to get this thing called the Eye of the First Field Tiller, which Daneslith had, and there's like this whole ancient civilization called Conria, which I remember for some reason, and it's confusing because apparently the Abyss sibling came to Teyvat 500 years ago and went on a journey, and then the Traveler sibling woke up 500 years later. And so, like, Conria was, like, this ancient civilization that was destroyed, and, like, everyone who lived in Conria was either cursed with immortality, or later we will find out that they were cursed to turn into hilly churls. And also, I looked it up. Not every hilly churl that we fight in Teyvat is a cursed Conrian, and I just feel bad because I do not know which hilly churls are cursed and which ones aren't. But anyway... after that, we go to Inazuma, and Inazuma is under the Sakoku decree, and no one can leave. Everyone who has a vision gets theirs taken away, and when they have their vision taken away, they forget their ambitions. And so I meet Ayaka, who wants to help shut this down, but I say no until I find out what this is doing to the people. And then at some point, Toma gets taken away, and I rush in to save him, and I feel pumped up, and then immediately scared when I see the Raiden Shogun, and then I lose a fight to her. And so then I have to run off and join an army, and I become captain of a squad like 20 minutes after joining the army, and I get zapped out of a cutscene. And then Tepe starts getting old, and then I learned the Fatui gave out delusions to the army. I don't like where this is going, so I run off to the delusion factory to shut this down, and I meet Scaramouche. I apparently met him before, but I didn't learn about this until a day after playing this part. So I start to pass out, and then I'm saved by Yai Miko. And then I learned that Yai is A's familiar and that the Raiden Shogun is a puppet, and I don't like anything to do with puppets in this game. Anyway, I have to train to defeat her and save Inazuma, and then A comes to her senses, and then we go out in town and get some Dango, and this isn't My Little Pony, and A is not Princess Luna, so I don't like her. Also, I find out that she abandoned Scaramouche, so I don't like her, and Kazuha might as well have been the main character for a bit. And anyway, so we go down to explore the chasm, and we find Dainsleif, and we learn about the truth about the Hilly Churls, and I have twin telepathy, so I see a memory of my brother, and okay, in reality that has something to do with the ley lines. But anyway, Dainsleif says goodbye to Halfdan after he disappears after some calamity and the curse, and then we investigate the chasm more, and we get stuck with Yelan and Yanfei and Ito and Ushi, who is the best character. And then Xiao tries to sacrifice himself, but Zhongli saves him at the last minute. So, and then we make our way to Sumeru, and after the whole thing in the chasm, I'm still having strange dreams, and then I pass out and wake up in the village, and then I'm told that Kale knows Amber and has trauma. There's this sickness affecting the people in Sumeru, and then I learn about the Withering, and I went on this long world quest. And then I make my way to the city, and I try to talk to people about the current archon, but no one seems to want to, except for Dunyarzad, who wants to hold a festival. Of course, the academia tries to shut us down, and I don't want to accept this, but we decide to end the day, except no, I get trapped in a time loop, and I have a headache. I meet Al-Haytham and Dory, who is totally not doing anything illegal, and then I meet up with Nahida, and I have to come to the conclusion that we're trapped in a dream, and Dunyarzad is dying. If you hang out with an NPC for too long, they will die. And anyway, we get Nilu to dance and stop the Samsara. Anyway, the Fatui was involved in this. We meet Dottore, who is the second Fatui Harbinger, and also the reason for Kale's trauma. And so, anyway, also, Catherine was a puppet. I do not know what the implications of this are. Yeah, she dies in front of me at one point and then is replaced later. So anyway, Scaramouche is trying to become a god, and we learn his backstory. But anyway, I run off to the desert to learn about King Destret, and we learn some dark secrets. I did not want to go to Abandoned Hospital. And also we go to a temple, and we learn the truth about the forbidden knowledge, and then we have to erase the memory of Greater Lord Rukkhadevata from everyone. But I still remember because I'm not from this world. But also, Nahida gives away the Gnosis, and then after that, Nahida wants Scaramouche to help us find out about our sibling through Irminsul, but we learn about the Descenders, and, like, for some reason, our sibling is connected to this world, but they're not a Descender, so we don't really find out about them. But then Scaramouche decides to erase himself from the history of Teyvat, but luckily Nahida had a backup file, so she restored his memories. And then I run into Kaya and Dainsleif at a cafe, and Kaya has connections to the Abyss Order. And then I have a dream, which is actually my sibling's memory, where I meet Clotar Alberich, who is like the founder of the Abyss Order, and his son, Caribert, who is a Hilly Churl now, and he's feeling upset, and he tries to break the curse. And then I hear this voice at one point, which is like a sinner or something. And then at the end of the quest, I straight up dig up Kaya's ancestors. Like that one episode of, I'm thinking about that one episode of Rick and Morty where Summer just like digs up dead bodies. And I did that in Genshin Impact. But anyway, like I go to Fontaine, and there are murders. I meet Lenny and Lynette, who I definitely want to be friends with, and also their cats, and I love cats. But then I find out that they're part of the Fatui, and so I'm like, I don't trust them. But also, yeah, okay, so Senora was annoying. Scarmos tried to kill me twice, and Dottore is just no, and gave me a headache. Anyway, oh, and also Child is there. And so at that point, we are framed for murder, and we have to be Lenny's attorney, even though we have no qualifications, and we're just there. And also, okay, something's off about Farina, but also we meet Navia, who's just the best. And also Nouvelette, who is also the best. Every Fontaine character is actually the best, but anyway, so we have to solve the case. We finally go to jail after the countless crimes that we've probably already committed. And then by the end of the quest, we learn the truth about how Farina is not the true Hydro Archon, because the true Hydro Archon made Farina, but then cursed her to live for 500 years, and she's had to live this life the entire time. And also there's the prophecy that they think is going to destroy Fontaine, and this all has something to do with Celestia, because apparently Focalors tried to create Farina so that she could trick Celestia into thinking that the prophecy was being fulfilled, but actually she was going to save the people of Fontaine from drowning and being dissolved in the water, because she created them out of the water oceanids, which is why they would dissolve if they touched the water. And so then, by the end of the quest, Nouvelette's full power as a dragon sovereign is restored. And then we meet Child's master, who tells us more about the Descenders, but also, most notably, we learned that Skirk also has a master, and we will learn about this character in the new Archon quest. Okay, so the siblings reunite and talk to each other, give props to the voice actors. This is a rare occurrence. And then they don't remember this. And I'm like, that is unfair. So the thing is, Dainsleif shows up once a year to give us some lore. And I cannot wait another year for the next quest. Right, so he tells us about the sinners from Conriat, which one of the characters whose voice we heard, and also the connection with Skirk's master. Also, Dainsleif has a brother. And yeah, I remember that talk about how Albedo has the power to destroy the world. Dainsleif and the Abyss sibling had a fight off screen, and I'm left unsatisfied. I feel sad about what happened with Caribert. I didn't expect to see him again. But also, I am a little confused, but I'm sure I'll understand later. Well, I think there's a summer event in 4.8, and I've seen some stuff about that, so I am excited for that.